Hi guys, it's Sunday, January 26th, I believe. It's a beautiful day here in Santa Barbara, and I am reporting back in. Feeling good, feeling back to normal. I have to say, I think I experienced a little bump along the road, along with I think all of us collectively. And the last video certainly reflected a little wobble I felt in my energy, and I felt a little depressed at that time. It took about a week to sort of clear it all out. Interestingly enough, at that same time, there were a couple of massive things happening with the world, with the earth. One is the Schumann resonance is not only blitzing out and continuing to just vibrate off the charts, 40 hertz and higher, which puts us into a gamma state, which is great. I like it. However, it kicks a lot of things up, not just for ourselves individually, but also for others, if you may not see this or sense this already. So not only was it blitzing out with all these power pulses, but we had a blackout period of 36 hours. And I think it was either literally at that time, prior to or shortly thereafter, there was a planetary alignment of all the planets. And there was lots of these mass meditations going on to sort of help the planet, move into this place of peace. And these things, the mass meditations happen all the time. Loved to participate in them. I did, and I included my yoga classes with it as well. So we got into the vibe of moving that forward. We do it all the time anyway, so I feel like we got a little extra support on that side. Not only did all those mass meditations happen for peace, but during this blackout period, we also had gravitational waves coming through. And now this is a really juicy topic, and I love to talk about or to think about gravity, because as we originally learned in school, and is that Newton, the apple fell from the tree and E equals MC squared or whatever the formula was, and all of a sudden that's gravity. But that's not at all. That's not the case. And gravity can move. It doesn't have to be attached to mass. And so the Earth got hit with these massive gravitational waves. We're getting hit with these Earth frequency waves. And then there's a blackout on the Schumann resonance, kind of basically a timeline jump is what I understand it to be. So if you want to ride this train here, the mass meditations, the powerful intentions, multiple people affected the grids, which again is what we always do in yoga. We meditate on this. And it affected the grid so much that it helped the Earth to reset. And so while all this awesomeness happens, there's a letting go of the old for all of us. And of course, it just triggers people in all sorts of ways. And most of people aren't aware of what's going on here. And myself included, just kind of figuring out along the way, but paying attention closely as it happens. So that all happened. And so while there was a little bit of personal, just what's happening, I felt it in our communities and I saw it collectively, but at the same time, there's just a whole nother possibility and joy of, look what happened. We might have jumped a timeline, a big one. In the positive, right? And so things still are going to play out, but maybe they're a little lighter. Maybe things become a little better and easier, faster. And stay positive no matter what is going on out there. So all that is happening. It's kind of chilling out a little bit, but at the meantime, I'm not seeing any of my friends in the skies, and so that was sort of bumming me out. And I'd take some pictures. Not much to really brag about. But then, all of a sudden, they came back, and I kind of definitely sent out a little desperate plea, because I was feeling the need for connection. And a couple of these are just going to be stories, and so hopefully I want to share these stories, because only on one incident did I get a photograph, and then I have a couple of others, I think, but this is more story time today. So they came back. So it was a couple days ago, and I was out at night. I haven't been doing a ton of night stuff because I do a lot of the day stuff, and that kind of satisfies my itch. I usually get photographs, and it's during the day, and you can't really argue with some of the images, so that fires me up. So then at nighttime I'm pretty much take it easy. But the other night I was outside, and I was looking up at the stars, and just calling out and wishing for something, some sort of acknowledgement that we're not alone anymore, that I'm not alone. And after a few moments, I had the most amazing experience. So my favorite things at night are flashes, like Christmas tree lights, and shooting star like things. So whether it's a shooting star or a shooting starship works for me. So that gets me all like giddy like a kid. And so sure enough, all of a sudden, boom, big giant white light flash, and it penetrates me, and I was like, oh my God, they're back finally. And then a couple seconds later, a smaller white flash. And then a couple seconds later, a golden flash, boom. And then another second later, a blue flash. And then another second later, another white little light flash. And then pause. And then another kind of section of the sky, same thing, boom, big old white flash that again, you can feel it go through these are kind of like the charges that happens. So that got me totally fired up, because it was sort of like all my little friends that I feel like I know, and they were all together. And they were up there letting me know that they're back, and that there was a recalibration that had to happen, and that they had kind of actually taken a little vacay as well, or took a moment to step back and observe and see how things sort of floated or fell. So I was really happy about that. So then the next day, I was outside gardening, and I thought to myself, I really would love to see a naked eye sighting, like during the day, because there was a couple times last year where I saw the star in the sky in the middle of the day, and then it materialized into an actual ship, and it just hovered there for a while, and it was far, it looked like a quarter in the sky. And so I kind of wanted that, and I just thought about that and remembered that I had seen him last night or the night before, and kind of fell into that energy again. And then 10 minutes later, there it was, little quarter, kind of hovering. They wobble when it hovers. It sort of wobbling up there, and I Actually, me and my family were in the pool, in the jacuzzi, and I'm like, okay, I see. I had to shout it out, you know. Some of my family just walks into the house and pretends that they don't see anything. But then one of my little ones hung in there with me. And so I keep my eye on it. And you know, if you take your eye off of it, it's gone. You can't lock your eye back on. And so I'm locked on, and I see it wobbling, and I'm smiling from ear to ear because I know that this is my sighting that I asked for exactly. And so I finally, after like 5 minutes or so, I yell out to one of my kids, I'm like, go get me my camera. If they're just gonna sit here, then I'm gonna take a picture. You know, I was just trying to absorb and just have the experience and not run for the camera, but I was still there. So I was like, okay, give me my camera. So my daughter starts to hand me my camera, and I know if I take my eye off it, I'm gonna lose it, right? Just that shift into the lens. And so, but I'm like, okay. And I shift it in, I can't find it. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't find it. So I take a couple clicks and just randomly shooting, and my daughter says, I still see it. And I'm like, you do? You still see it? She's like, I can take a picture of it. I'm like, you can? Okay. And I'm still looking, I'm searching in the sky, I can't see it, but she's locked on. And so I give her the camera, and click, she takes a couple pictures. It looks sort of like it's got some different dimensions than I'm used to seeing because it is really clear and uncloaked. And you might want to mistake it for an aircraft, because I really do. But it's not, because then there's one where it's partially cloaked and it looks kind of more morphically dimensional. Anyway, it definitely begs a lot of curiosity, and I love the photos. They're awesome, and yeah, from a different lens from my daughter. So it's very interesting from a child's eye. So I think that's very, very interesting to see. So, and then coincidentally, you know, while I'm thinking it could be an aircraft, who knows, you know, maybe she was locked down in an aircraft and not the ship that I was seeing. But no, I don't know. Here we don't know. Lastly, a friend of mine, Pam, she had taken a photo near her and sent me it, and it looked very much like this sort of quasi-aircrafty starship. And I said, I don't know. It looks like an airplane-ish, sort of, you know. But everything else represented the starship that it is, and how it was caught, and its speed, and so forth. And so I was kind of like, I'm not sure. And then I caught these images of kind of the same diameter. So basically, this is a new and a different shape of ship, unless they're letting us see it in a different configuration. Because I feel like it's the same, one of the same primary Palladian beings out there. So anyway, so that's cool. So things are happening again, and I'm really psyched about that. So I'm gonna end it right here. Hope you guys have a great day. Love, peace, joy, and happiness. Hold the energy, hold the frequency. We should be closer than friends. If you OPN, engaging you's on my agenda. Request my chariot to get ya. The door's OPN.